I'm going to send them this link, and it's actually a Zoom link. And voila, we're in a listing appointment. I just set a virtual listing appointment. Okay, so here's what I want to tell you guys. Let's start with this. Right now, we're coming out of COVID, and you guys are still limited. I mean, I think everyone's still limited, right? I mean, I'm in California, just to let you know, and I mean, I can't go into a grocery store without wearing a face mask, and you know, and there's certain things we can and can't do still, so people feel a little contained. So if you do talk to people that want to move soon, a lot of them are saying, hey, I want to wait. I want to wait. Wait until everything's better. Once this is over, I'll be ready. And guys, that is not an excuse not to be trying to get business, okay? Because it's very, very rarely in real estate do the activities we perform get us results right now. We're used to waiting in real estate, okay? Imagine it's October 30th, okay? And you bump into someone that tells you at the grocery store, hey, yeah, how's it going? You're like, great, I'm still in real estate. Oh yeah, we're thinking about moving, right? Notice how I said real estate when I bumped into someone? So that they would actually say, we're thinking about moving, because that's what I do. I don't even sell real estate, but I can't help it. So when that happens, my response back is, oh yeah, when were you thinking about moving? And what do they say? It's October 30th. You know what they say. Well, maybe after the holidays, you know, we got Thanksgiving, Christmas, and maybe, you know, getting closer to spring. And that's what they tell me. I may, at that point, try to meet with them right now to see if I can at least get them ready, right, to sell, and maybe convince them that it would be better to get their house on the market in the winter months, maybe. But oftentimes I don't succeed at that, and I create a lead that I just generated, and I nurture that lead throughout the holidays, and then after the holidays, sometime in January, I'm going to start trying to see if I can get in front of them so that we can get their house up for sale. And usually that happens sometime between late January and late March, you know, depending where you live in the country and when things thaw out and stuff like that. So what I do, I'm used to nurturing a lead over time. And during that time, I might be sending them a Christmas card. I might be setting them up on listing e-alerts. Like, I can't imagine having a seller lead. And you guys remember this. If you've got a seller lead, the first thing you do is you set them up on a listing e-alert email so that we don't use those for buyers, right? Are you guys that old school? If we've got a seller, we set them up on an email listing e-alert for their existing neighborhood. So that way, if any homes come up for sale, they get an email so they know they can look at that home. They can look through photos of their neighbor's home that's their competition, and they can compare the price of that home to what they think they should get from their home. They can compare the amenities of that home. They can see how fast it sells. They can, when they get a pending email, they can even see what some of them sell for if they get a sold email, right? I don't know if you get all those status emails or you're allowed to do that in your MLS or not, but I guarantee you're allowed to get an active listing email, right? Just like when you set a buyer up on a buyer auto prospecting listing e-alert email search, we're gonna do that with sellers. Now, every one of those emails, I'm gonna get notified of it because that's how I set my settings in my CRM or in my MLS system up. And I'm gonna call those sellers every single time. Hey, did you see that? Here's how that impacts the value of your house. The value of your house just changed. So I'm gonna nurture them over the course of the winter through, you know, and I'm gonna keep adding value coming from contribution, educating about their house. If they use somebody else to list their house in January or February, they're a jerk. And they're gonna feel like a jerk because they've been receiving all this value from me. They've been talking with me. Does that make sense? It's gonna get really awkward. Now, I'm gonna try to get the listing agreement signed before this, but in case I don't get it signed, I'm going to nurture them by adding value and coming from contribution throughout the listing process, throughout the winter into the spring until we actually put the house up for sale. we need to treat now, this spring, as a second winter, because we are now going to have to, with a lot of our clients, wait until COVID is far enough behind us and they are comfortable enough putting their home up for sale and letting people through the home. Yes, I'm going to try to get people to go right now and list right now. Absolutely. But many won't. And I'm going to try to pipeline them until later. So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to try both ways, just like I always do. I'm always trying to close business right now, but if not, I'm going to pipeline them, nurture them, add value, and convert later. Make sense? And that listing e-alert process is often where it starts. So if I talk to someone, I'm going to say, hey, whenever you want to sell, that's totally up to you. But how about I get you set up so that way one of your neighbors' homes goes up for sale? You'll be the first to know about it, so you can look through their home, look through photos of the home, look at the price they sold it for, look at the size of it, the amenities, so you stay up to date on all of the home sales in your neighborhood. So that when you're ready to sell, whether that's 6 months from now or 2 years from now, you'll know what the value should be, and you'll probably even know when the right time to list your home is. How does that sound? And they're going to say, that sounds great. Then what do? I say, great. Let me send you a quick link right now. Would that be better by email or phone? And they're going to tell you email or phone. I don't care. Because you're good at Zoom by now, right? We've all signed up for a free Zoom account. We're here. And I recommend you go for the $14 a month version. That's month to month, because then you can actually be on these calls longer than 45 minutes without getting kicked off. And you can do lots of other cool things like mute people. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to send them this link, and it's actually a Zoom link. And voila, we're in a listing appointment. Right? I just set a virtual listing appointment where I'm going to set them up on a listing e-alert email. And I can even share my screen with them. Right? You guys all know how to share your screen? If not, just scroll down to the bottom and you should see a button down there, share screen, somewhere down at the bottom. That's how you do it on Zoom. So you can actually take them right into your MLS and ask them all the questions that you need to know, like what's your address, where do you live, and we can actually get them completely set up on a listing e-alert search with them there for their neighborhood. You can then offer to set them up on a buyer search too, like, hey, where are you thinking about moving? You want to start seeing some listings from there? You can set them up on a separate listing e-alert search where they'll start getting emails from a home that they want to possibly buy too. Now I'm doing work for you. You see what I'm saying? And once you let me start doing work for you, you're a jerk if you don't use me later, and there will be guilt. And that's social guilt that also becomes professional guilt, right? So have any of you guys ever been to LA, Los Angeles? Okay, good. Giovanni, I see that. Mark. Yeah, if you've ever driven in downtown Los Angeles and you get stopped at a stoplight, something magical happens. And what happens is a homeless person comes running up to your car instantaneously. You can't miss him. And he comes running up to your car and he instantly grabs a rag or even a newspaper and like a squirt bottle that somehow he got with water or spit or something in it, and he starts cleaning your windows, right? And he'll clean your windows, and then after he's done, he just stares at you. And when he stares at you, he creates social guilt. I just did work for you. You owe me money. And then you have a decision to make whether you're going to pay him, even though you didn't ask him to do this, or not. And for some reason, that creates a level of guilt in me where I still don't pay him. I really don't. But I really feel more guilty about it than some random panhandler on the side of the road who has a sign. Because this guy started washing my windows. So what I'm telling you guys to do, and these guys do get a lot more money, that's why they do this. I'm telling you to start washing your people's windows by going to work for them, by setting them up on your tools and systems to keep them up to date until they're ready to sell. You have tools and systems that allow you to set up listing e-alert searches through your MLS for your people, and you can do that in a virtual listing consultation. Now I've set them up. And then I might say, hey, would it interest you in knowing how much your home might be worth in this market today. And they're almost always, you got them in a video and they're going to say, absolutely. I mean, almost 100% response at this point. Okay. So then what we do is say, great, I just got a few questions for you. Anissa, can you post the seller lead sheet into the comments on the side? And it's a series of questions we call a seller lead sheet. And we're going to get, oh, here we go. Oh, look, she went bonus. She gave you a buyer lead sheet and the seller lead sheet in the comments. So you can just go there, link, and just download them for free. And they're copies of questions that you ask a seller about their home to be able to list their property for sale. Okay? So we're in a consultation now. And at this point, we literally can get to the very end and say, great, did you have any questions for me? Or excuse me, I'd say great. No, excuse me, let me back that up. I completely got it. I said, besides price, is how we started this. Besides price, is there anything else you would like to know about me? Besides price, is there anything else you'd like to know about me? What have I just done? I've just actually eliminated any objections they would have about using me as their agent. So I'm gonna start talking price now. So now I'm actually gonna share my screen with them, and I'm gonna do a quick CMA in front of them and show them digitally on the screen what their home value is worth. I'm not gonna give it to them, I'm just gonna show them on a shared screen and show them what their home's worth. Can you see them even remotely using someone else to list their home later now, even if we don't get a listing agreement signed right now? Unlikely. I've set them up on listing e-alerts. I've given them value of the home. I've taken all their information about their home. At this point in time, it depends on your comfort level, their comfort level, and where we are in time. You know, we could say, hey, I tell you what, if you're interested in, letting me get to work on this, it's really easy to authorize me to start working for you on this, and we can put the house on the market anytime you'd like. Right now is a great time because there's not a lot of inventory for sale. So there's very low competition, and housing prices are still rising everywhere in America. Great Wall Street Journal article about that today, by the way, how housing prices are still skyrocketing despite all this. And if you don't know that, please learn that. There is no supply. I don't care about the demand. I don't care about the job layoffs. I don't care about the stock market. Buyer demand has nothing to do with the lack of supply. So the buyer demand is much lower than housing supply. Our supply is down to nothing. It was nothing before COVID. Now there's even less people that want to put their house for sale. So just because we lost a lot of lower valued buyer demand, and when I say lower valued, understand that only 65% of America can afford to buy a home, okay? Which means 35% can't. The majority of the people that are losing jobs right now are those 35%. And I hate to say that, I don't think it's right, whatever, I don't care. It's reality, okay? So believe it or not, we didn't lose as much buyer demand as you think, but we've lost a lot of supply. There's almost nothing for sale. And when you have more demand than you have supply, prices always go up. That's the underlying law of real estate. So you guys must know that. Housing prices are going up. The Wall Street Journal and just about every other media source is talking about it. They're actually skyrocketing now because as houses are coming on the market, they're getting gobbled up fast. So long as they're, I mean, obviously luxury homes always take a while, but as long as they're priced around your median home price, which I think in your area is probably what, 300,000-400,000? That about right, Central Jersey? Something like that. As long as they're priced in that ballpark, give or take 150,000, what'll end up happening is they'll go very, very quickly because there's just tons of buyer demand, low interest rates, all that kind of stuff. So letting them know that's very, very important. Now, this is where you have to be a little bit touchy because you're going to have to know if you can't get that listing appointment signed and you're comfortable and you think they're comfortable and it's okay under the law, which it sounds like it is, at this point I'd say, hey, you know what? For us to get real firm on price, all I need to do is take a quick 15-minute look through your property, because now if we try to get the contract signed in our listing consultation virtually, but if not, we can always revert to a follow-up in person, and that becomes a second listing appointment. And if any of you have ever been on a second listing appointment, you're gonna learn that you have a very high percentage of getting listing agreements signed on your second listing appointment with the same person. And you've already had one. They already know you. You've already gone through price, told them what you do. Then you're going to set a second listing appointment. Okay. And that's going to be in person, and it'll be much faster. It's just to kind of take a look at the home and answer any remaining objections that they have, like whether it be commission or price. Probably won't get into the objection handling now because those are virtually the same virtually as in person. But that's when we're going to probably encounter those and have to overcome those objections at that point in time. If that makes sense. Your biggest objection you're going to have right now is going to be, number one, price. That's always your biggest objection, is they're going to be unrealistic in their price. And number two, it's whether we do it now or we wait. And that's going to be your biggest one. If that makes sense. Okay. So now, and of course, right now is probably the safest time because we know properties are going to sell quickly now. I don't know what's going to happen with this economy going forward. We have no idea. But right now we got low interest rates, and we got no houses for supply, no supply, and no competition for you.